Okay, yeah, recording. So, hello, my name is Laura, and I'm the chapter lead for Code Academy Seoul. And the meetup for today is centered around projects for educators, me being an English teacher here in Seoul myself. It'll be a pretty short and sweet meetup, and just to give you a quick little overview of the things that we're going to be talking about. So, I will be talking about projects that educators can do, I guess, or teachers, then maybe something for students, something for managers, people on a supervisory level. And then I'll just talk briefly about my own project that I've brought for today. And yeah, so basically just to kind of give you an overview on the rationale. So why did I put this meetup on? So basically what it is, as a teacher myself, I do actually have a bit of tech in my day-to-day life. But what I've noticed is it's all sort of, it's all over the place. So what I would like to see is maybe something like a platform where everything can be hosted all in one place, I guess, just to sort of streamline things. What I would like to see as a teacher is to have repetitive admin tasks automated. What I would like to see is to humanize teaching through tech. I'll get to that in a bit. And actually, what I've noticed over the years, so I actually kind of feel like I want to go back to actually teaching, which is my core function, right? But what I've noticed is just because there's so many things floating around that I'm using in my day-to-day life, it actually takes away from my core function. And yeah, let's get into that. Okay. So what I would maybe propose, and that's actually what I've been working on as well, is a report card comment generator. So it's been a bit of a pet peeve of mine actually over the years where when I look at other people's report cards, right, and they're very important for students as well as for parents to have a general idea of, where you are in your learning journey. What I've noticed is oftentimes teachers will be including comments that are not helpful, stuff like Eugene is lazy, or for example, there will be honest feedback, but then there is no suggestion for improvement. So what I would maybe like to see is a report card comment generator that takes away from such unhelpful comments while also looking into improvement. Then what I would maybe like to see is something like a checklist system. So oftentimes what I do is I have so many papers floating around, checklists, all the things that I need to do. So maybe something like a checklist system, how many counseling sessions are left with parents, that sort of thing, how many report cards, what homework needs to be added, also some kind of system for tracking attendance or maybe tracking grades, and then have some kind of alert system. For example, if a student falls below a certain class average or a certain threshold for attendance, that it sort of gives me a little alert, I guess, rather than just relying on my intuitions all the time, which might be incorrect. And then the next thing that I thought of, so if you're on a supervisory level, what I've often noticed is what's lacking in a lot of schools, also schools that I've worked in, is there is no real tuition tracking system. So for example, if you're sending your kid to a private school, right, parents need to make money, need to pay for these classes, but there is no system to track. Okay, so what happens sometimes is that students just come to school, parents haven't paid, and they're basically getting classes for free. Something like reminders to sort of help you renew your fees, or maybe in some sort of electronic payment system. Here in Korea, what a lot of people are using is Kakao Pay. And maybe something like that to connect it in a way. Then also what I've noticed often, what supervisors have struggled with, is to distribute workloads evenly. And then what happens is that teachers will sort of feel shortchanged, and there will be resentment because teachers feel that maybe some people are getting more or less counseling sessions or more or less classes than others. And then also, I feel like there's something lacking in the student management systems that I see at the moment. Okay. So, for example, something like really basic stuff as well, like how many students per class. Is there maybe something that helps you track teacher performance and retention? So, what I see oftentimes supervisors or owners do, they kind of go by, for example, complaints or how many phone calls they're getting. But at the same time, is that teacher actually retaining the students? Yeah. And then the last thing was maybe something for students and parents as well, because being a student myself, studying with Co-Academy, it's really, I want to say, it's made me more empathetic towards students as well, just because I'm a student myself. I feel like it makes it easier for me to put myself into students' shoes now. And so, for example, what I would like to really see is some kind of percentile system. So, for example, if you're a parent, maybe there's a way to access where my child falls among other students, their age or their level. And then maybe if there is a dashboard system for parents as well. So sometimes I feel like parents want to help their kids, but also parents are busy themselves, right? So is there maybe some kind of dashboard system where parents can see what homework needs to be done, what sort of test scores are available for my child? Is there maybe attendance? Can I maybe see some kind of trend over time taking place rather than just relying on my child to tell me things? My child may not actually tell me what is going on with them, right? So maybe having a dashboard system as a sort of more objective option. And then what I've also noticed, there are some flashcard apps. I find flashcards really, really helpful for all sorts of things. Can be concepts, can be vocabulary. And there are flashcard apps out there, but oftentimes they're not really useful for students and for parents in the sense that maybe they cannot be customized or they're sort of fiddly to use. So maybe something that's a little bit better than what's currently out there might be interesting as well. Okay. Oops. Wait. Okay. Right. That is part number 2. Then maybe a little bit more fun stuff. Something that I would like to see is and some kind of app that lets you grow something to help you visualize your progress. Because sometimes you're learning something, right? And you're so in the midst of it, you don't really know where you are. But having something to visualize where you're at to make your progress more tangible in a way. Then maybe something like Notion, but for students, something to put online notes at or materials. Maybe a better place to contact or to chat with your teachers directly, like a little chatbot. And then maybe some kind of reward system that is in lessons. So what I was using at a previous job, for example, was a smart board. And then as students answered questions correctly in a full sentence, they would get points. But then once the lesson was over, those points would be reset, basically. They wouldn't be saved. So what I was thinking is maybe, is there a way to have that reward system that connects to your profile and have you chart your progress over time and your participation scores as well, just for parents to see as well. Oh, is my child actually participating actively, or is my child just sort of sitting there and needs to basically needs to be prompted all the time? Okay, so that is pretty much it for my perspective as a teacher so far. Okay, let me just take a brief moment before I get into my project. Just one sec.
Laura,
Recording.